Steve Moore, come back in again, please. Those executives, I think, were referring to the carrot. Here, this is what Mr. Trump is offering. Much less regulation. He'll cut it by 75%, he says. Much lower taxes. That's the carrot to entice executives to keep jobs here. It sounds like it's going to work, right?
Remember what I said on your show 6 months ago, Stuart, remember? 2% growth to 4% growth. If you do those two things, if you cut those regulations by half, and if you get that business tax rate down to 15 to 20%, you just jumpstart the economy in a major way. But I want to go back, if I could, Stuart. I think it's an important point, what I was saying before. There is some unease in the business community among investors about whether Donald Trump is going to get this done. There was a lot of talk in the last few weeks. Maybe we'll address the tax bill in September or in late summer. I think that's a mistake. I think he's got to jump out of the gates right away and get this done. And then I think you see the stock market respond in a very positive way once there is an assurance that this is going to get done.
But there is widespread agreement, I think, that there will be a corporate tax reform plan.
I think so. Yes, but Stuart, but here's the thing. What the congressional Republicans have been saying is maybe we'll do Obamacare first and then the budget and then the Supreme Court nominations. And there is talk about stalling this until late summer or maybe even late in the year. And if that happens, you might not get this thing enacted, until late in the year. And I think that's one of the reasons there's some anxiety among the investor class. But Trump should make a statement right away. We're going to get this done right away. Why can't they do this in the first 100 days, Stuart?
Because they're bound up with Obamacare. You've got to get that
well, that's
through
a problem.
Congress.
That's a problem.
But they haven't changed the schedule.
Stuart,
they haven't changed the schedule.
Yeah.
It's still Obamacare first, tax cuts second, isn't it? They've not changed that.
I don't understand, Stuart, frankly. Why can't they walk and chew gum at the same time? Why can't they do these both at the same time? And I want the president to say, look, we're going to have a jobs program. He should announce this in a State of the Union, and I'm going to get this through Congress in the first 100 days. This should be a very, very high priority. If you want growth, you got to get the tax bill done. Ronald Reagan signed his tax bill by the midsummer of his first year in office. I want Trump to beat that. I want him to do it sign this into law in the spring. My goodness, Stuart, Barack Obama passed his $800 billion stimulus bill in the first weeks in office. I don't understand why this has taken so long.
Because if you start to roll back Obamacare, you've got to replace it very, very quickly.
That's
if not
true.
Immediately. So you don't have room for a corporate and an individual tax cut.
I disagree.
As Obamacare is going through.
Really? No. I'm sorry, Stuart. I very rarely disagree with you, but I disagree with you on this. Do both things and don't let Obamacare, because it's turning into, the Republicans are getting a little tripped up on Obamacare. Don't allow that to intrude on the urgency of getting this business tax cut through. I mean, I feel very strongly about that. If we get this done in the next few months, you're going to see the biggest stock market explosion you ever saw.
So that's what we're waiting for. Because right now the market's down a little bit despite all this activity on that front. Okay. Well, keep pushing, I still want an individual tax rate cut to January the 1st.
Stuart, don't go wobbly on me. All right?
Me? What?
Okay.
Steve is referring to that group of conservatives in England who backed away from Margaret Thatcher in the 1980s. They were wobbling.
He's quoting Margaret Thatcher.
I ain't wet.
That's right.
I'm not a wobbler. You got that, Steve?
Okay.
Come on,
it was just for the historical, accuracy here. This is what Margaret Thatcher said to George Bush.
Yes.
Don't go wobbly on me.
That is true. Don't go wobbly on me. And I think he did, actually. All right, Steve. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you.